You're listening to the Manifesting Miracles podcast. By tuning in today, you're dialing into your frequency of abundance. I'm Michelle J. Lamont, your manifestation master and guide. Ever since 2016, I've been obsessively dedicating my life to uncovering, dissecting, and analyzing every aspect of the practices and modalities in which we call manifestation. You see, you are truly more powerful than you can even imagine and fully capable of manifesting miracles on the daily. I'm going to teach you how to attract a life beyond your wildest dreams using your own divine power. So let's get started manifesting your miracles right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is time for us to be the highest and the best version of yourself. And by investing this next 25 to 30 minutes of your time into the frequency of your abundance, the universe is going to start paying attention. It's going to start charging everything up. It's going to zip line right into your reality and show you how fast everything can come into play. But before we get started, let me introduce myself in case this is your first time checking out Manifesting Miracles. My name is Michelle Juanita Lamont. I'm a manifestation expert, speaker, and a professional YouTube and podcast host. So I want to invite you into a reality where you are living as a high vibrational being that you are and allowing yourself to manifest things into this reality because your angels, your guides, your higher self, they all are sick and tired of you not winning at the game of life because you're playing by broken rules. You see, we are manifesting our reality in a way that prevents us from really achieving the highest things, or we're really truly living in a reality where we just don't feel like we could ever manifest anything into our lives. Why? Because of the things that we hide and the things that we cover up. So today's show is going to be based on your shadow self, the importance of it, the power of shadow work, how it affects us, the benefits it, and I'm going to share with you some tips and maybe even a little success story of one of my coaching clients. So if you're listening, and today is your first podcast with me, welcome. If you've been a long-time listener or you're getting to be a long-time listener by listening to my podcast each and every single day, which is the best way to listen to it, I highly suggest that because it carries a vibration of manifesting. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to create things into your reality. And because of my belief in you, you're changing your vibrational reality by listening to this podcast each and every day. And then when you share it on your social media or you talk about it with your friends and you actually go to those three little dots right there in the show notes and click share this link, share with somebody else, or write a review, watch your manifestations double and triple, because this vibration, baby, this vibration is of love, baby. This vibration is of angels. This vibration is of power, and you are the creator of your reality, and I'm here to guide you. I want you to dig deep into your emotional past and to reveal those traumas with this episode on shadow work and understanding that the power of manifesting was always a divine gift that you were born with. You don't have to ask permission, but go ahead and say, I give myself permission to be a creator. I give myself permission to manifest things into my reality. I give myself permission to release my history. You see, I'm a manifestation master, author, speaker, and coach. And in my experience since 2016, doing this every single day, I've invested in education. I went back to school. I got a mindfulness cognitive therapy certified as a therapist, mindfulness cognitive therapist, a life coach, a mindset coach. I read between 40 and 50 books a year, and I have been through it. And I use all of these techniques and modalities that I teach you, and along with the people who take my digital courses, the people who take my live group courses, and the people who do one-on-one coaching with me. And I take all of these specifics and teach them to you here in this podcast. So stay tuned, because this is going to be a powerful episode in releasing your history and creating your future in the best way possible. So in today's show, I'm going to start by talking about the shadow self. And if you've never heard what this is, it's basically your shadow self and your self-concept. And before we dive into that, I want to bring the shadow self into manifesting. You see, it's super important to understand what it actually is. The shadow self refers to the parts of ourself that we try to reject and we hide from the world. We want to put on this happy face for everybody in the world, but every time we come home, it's a shit show, or we're not happy, or we're really not genuine in our desires, and we're really not living our highest and our best self. So that shadow refers to the part of ourselves that we reject or we try to hide from. And these could be negative emotions, they could be past traumas, they could even be aspects of our own personality that we have assigned and we deem undesirable. And so we've just accepted the fact that our personality is just too much. We've accepted the fact that the way that we create is not a really good way. And so that shadow, what it does is it enforces and it anchors that into you. And by acknowledging and integrating these parts of ourselves, we can become whole and truly authentic. You see, manifesting is living in our highest vibrational reality and not in our shadow and in the things that we hide and the things that we pretend aren't who we are. And what the universe does so beautifully, and it feels like torture when it's happening, but it's not. What the universe does with our shadow self is it says, all right, you don't want to confront your childhood traumas. We're going to keep giving you a relationship over and over and over again, exactly like the one that you grew up seeing and knowing and seeing that type of relationship doesn't work, but you keep going into it over and over and over again. And as you go into it over and over and over again, that those shadow self you starts to become part of your thought process. It starts to become part of your personality. But the power of shadow work, and the reason why I'm dedicating, I even have a digital course, Fear is a Liar, Dismantling Imposter Syndrome, and Lucky Girl Syndrome. And all of these have aspects and practices on shadow work. In every one of my live courses, my masterclass, my retreats, Into the Mystic, Alignment Exposed, we work on the shadow self. And in my 6 weeks to success, we have a whole week of just shadow prompts and shadow work. So it's very, very integral in the parts of you that you need to heal and grow from. And in order for you to be creating a reality where your fears are not imprinted and affecting your future. So the shadow work is the process of exploring and integrating the shadow selves, because there's multiple levels, into our reality. And we do this and by doing this kind of shadow work, which can involve journaling, it can involve meditation, grounding. By doing this work, we can release limiting beliefs and patterns that are holding us back from manifesting every single thing that we desire. That shadow self, it seems like our enemy. It seems like the shadow is not our friend and we want to avoid it like a plague, but the actual process of doing shadow work and shadow prompting and shadow journaling and even coaching, shadow coaching, you start to dismantle the way that your iOS, your operating system in your brain, in your energy, and in your chakra system is completely changing. And our shadow self often holds us back from really creating the reality that we want and that we want to manifest. For example, if we had a deep-rooted belief, a deep-seated belief that we don't deserve success for whatever reason, like I'm just going to stay in this job and I'm just going to be in this thing, and you have to struggle to manifest. By bringing your shadow self into the manifesting process, you can identify and release some of those limiting beliefs, because that shadow self, when it's confronted, you can see that it's not the boogeyman. You can see that it's not the monster that you believe it is. It is here to help you release and let go and confront it, so you never have to experience creating from that fear-based shadow. And the benefits of integrating the shadow self into our everyday reality and our shadow selves can lead to such great self-awareness and self-acceptance and self-love. Almost every single reason that things are not a vibrational reality for you right now is because you don't have the self-awareness that you are living in your shadow. You don't have the self-love to understand that you're operating in that shadow. And you don't have the self-acceptance to realize that it needs work and it needs our attention and it needs us to dive deeper into it. And in turn, this can help us manifest more easily and more effectively. It's going to allow us to embrace all the parts of ourselves, and we can tap into that full potential and live a more loving and fulfilled life. Isn't that what we all want? Isn't the truth about manifesting? I don't believe manifesting is about becoming a millionaire or being super wealthy. I believe manifesting is about having joy. It's about having freedom. It's about living in a vibrational universe that says that you are enough, and that overcoming that shadow self will help you to release all of that low, dense energy and raise that vibration so that you can start creating a better and different reality for yourself. And in order for us to live in a vibrational universe where we're integrating with our shadow self, there are many ways to bring the shadow excuse me, sorry about that, into the manifesting process. So for example, we can use affirmations, shadow affirmations, that acknowledge and accept our shadow self. Why is that important? We are living our whole lives pretending that what happened to us didn't really happen to us. The things that we experience, the tragedies, the losses, the pain, the suffering, the embarrassment, the humiliation, all of that is feeding into you suppressing the greatest lesson that you came here to learn, because the shadow work process allows you to create a reality that isn't anchored into that history of fear and doubt. And then you can use those affirmations to acknowledge and accept that shadow self, and we can visualize integrating our shadow into our whole being. I'm going to give you an example in just a second. And we can also practice self-compassion and forgiveness by recognizing that we are all human. And we are all imperfect. Being a human, incarnating into the teaching planet called Earth, means that we are human. And being human means that you are imperfect. And recognizing that and giving yourself compassion and giving yourself forgiveness to that is vital for you to be a creator of your reality and for you to move forward. And let me give you an example of me personally. Instead of a client this time, I'm going to tell you personally. For the first 4 years of my marriage, this was an abusive marriage. This wasn't a healthy marriage. I was a broken person. He was a broken person. I was wanting him to heal me, and he can't do that. And then when I couldn't become who I needed to be, we started becoming vicious to each other, but he took it to that nuclear level and it became abusive. But that said, I was vibrating at a place of fear all the time. I was so scared that people would find out that I was worthless, that I was a piece of shit, that nobody ever loved me and that nobody wanted me. For the first, I would say, 4.5 years of my marriage, I never, ever, ever told my husband that I grew up in an orphanage. Why? It wasn't my fault, right? I was only 10. My dad didn't want me. My mom had just died. He kept my brothers. And my biological father taught me to not love. He taught me to have fear. He taught me that I'm disposable. And because of that And understanding that in my young self, and not really understanding that this was a shadow and that I had to, acknowledge it, work through it, journal through it, use shadow prompts, bring it into my reality, not confront it. I expected myself to be perfect, and I expected everything in my life to be perfect because I wanted to be in control. So what happened? One year, it was about year 4, year 5 in our marriage. My nephew, Dylan, who's now graduated from college, he was a young child. He had a birthday party at like a pizza character place. I think it was like Chunky Cheese or Showbiz Pizza or something like this. I don't remember. And my brothers, who lived with my dad and grew up with my dad, always just operated like I did. It never happened. I was never given away. I wasn't abused. I wasn't forgotten. I suppressed everything about that experience, from the sexual abuse, the mental abuse, the physical abuse, the emotional abuse, the what I learned about love, that I'm disposable, that I am trash, that nobody wants me. So in order for me to be in a marriage where I wouldn't allow that vibration, I had to hide this fact, because integrating my whole shadow self into our relationship and into that conversation was just way too big of a thing for me to do, because I was always operating in fear, in doubt, in lack, and in shame. And so if I could just be really, really good at making money, then I would never have to explain my history. So here we are at this little pizza place, and my brothers and I all live in this reality where I was not given away, and I didn't live here, and we never talked about it because it was too ugly to talk about. And what they endured with my father was too ugly to talk about. And missing me and seeing me being disposed of in such a way was too hard to even comprehend for any of us. So here we are at this pizza place, and my younger brother starts to tell a story. And my husband's standing there. And as he goes through this story, I realize he's telling a story that I wasn't a part of. And he keeps looking at me, and he's like, you remember this? You remember this? You remember this? And I'm just like nodding and smiling. And then my older brother, who has no idea that my husband doesn't know that I grew up at the Waco Children's Methodist Home in Waco, Texas, he has no idea that I've hidden this from my husband. He corrects my brother, who knows that I've told 2 of my brothers, don't ever tell him about how I grew up. I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me. I don't want anybody seeing me as disposable. I don't want to live in that reality. I don't want to accept my self-awareness. I don't want to have self-acceptance. I don't want to have self-love. This is going to be easily removed by just pretending it doesn't exist. But the problem with pretending that it doesn't exist is that the universe is going to make it louder and louder and louder and louder and louder until you get knocked all the way the fuck back down and learn to rebuild from there. But I don't want you to have to get to that place where you have to burn everything down in order to manifest. So in that moment, my older brother, not being part of the little hiding the truth from my husband situation, he says, oh no, remember Michelle lived in Waco then? My other 2 brothers and I all looked at my brother like, are you fucking kidding me? Did you just say the thing that we're not allowed to say out loud? And my husband looked at me, looked at them, looked at me, went to the bathroom, came back, and he goes, I don't feel good. Let's go home. Oh. My heart sunk into my stomach, because I knew the second I got into that car, the conversation was going to be, what the fuck is he talking about? And I hid that from him. And on the whole ride home, neither one of us spoke. And we got to the stoplight about a half a mile from my house in Plano, Texas. I now live in St. Pete, Florida. And he looked at me and he said, what do you mean what did your brother mean by the time when you lived in Waco? Why were you living in Waco and when? I had not spoken about it. I didn't want to acknowledge it. It was too big of a thing. Even everything that happened to me there, I didn't even confront or remember for way past after I tried to unalive myself, like when I started doing shadow work and when I started integrating my shadow self into my reality and using shadow prompts and understanding to release and to confront it and help myself build a bigger future. I had to marinate in the history that I was trying so desperately to pretend never happened. So the only thing that I could manifest was the things that I could hustle and create out of sheer will and force. And as soon as he said it, I just bursted into tears. I burst into tears so badly that I couldn't calm down and I couldn't stop crying for about an hour and a half. I was having a panic attack. My mind was racing. I was like, oh my God, he's going to find out everything. He's going to see what a piece of shit I am. He's going to treat me like my dad did. And guess what? Because that's what I believe, that's exactly what happened. From that moment on, our marriage really changed the dynamic, and he really did see me as less than him. He treated me that way, and then pretty soon after that is when the mental, verbal, and emotional abuse started. So when we don't understand how to integrate that shadow self, and we work so hard to pretend that it never happened or that we're just over it because time has taught us that, it's the illusion of time that has healed us. But it was like the separation or the distance that made us believe that. And so when we understand that the shadow self, the importance of ongoing shadow work, is how we will be able to create things into our history and confront that part of ourselves, is when we start to really understand how magical, how energetic, and how powerful our reality is. And integrating our shadow self is not a one-time event, right? I have been doing shadow work nearly once a month for about 3.5 years. And it's an ongoing process. And as we grow and evolve, new aspects of our shadow selves may emerge. And that is okay too, because the whole part of digging in and uncovering our history and not letting it be our shame, the motherfucking shame of it, that's what really got me. It was the shame of that I wasn't enough, that I wasn't loved, that I was disposable. But through that shadow work, I was able to grow. I was able to evolve. New aspects of that shadow self emerged and helped me find out more and more and more and more about how I could heal. And it's going to do exactly the same for you. Okay? And by continuing to do this work, we can deepen our understanding of ourselves and continue to manifest in a place of freedom, a place of trust, a place of love, a place of wholeness and authenticity. And until we bring our shadow selves into the manifestation process, we cannot be as powerful as we came here to be for our own personal growth, for our own personal self-concept, for our own transformation. Yes, I understand that those things were embarrassing, and they're embarrassing for you to talk about because you haven't confronted them. And we can tap into our full potential of manifesting the life that we truly desire when we release all of this insecurity and fear and doubt from our shadow selves by doing shadow prompt work and shadow courses and shadow work. And introducing this vibration into the equation is the way that you integrate that and allow yourself to be a high vibrational manifesting expert. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the shadow work that you're going to be tapping into and trying is going to help you. And they're everywhere. You can take my digital courses. You can do one-on-one coaching with me. You can be in my next group course. But at the very least, you can go online and Google shadow work for, and then you can say, father who abandoned me. Shadow work for a husband or a spouse or a partner who abused me. Shadow work for molestation. Shadow work for rape. Shadow work for weather, like if you had a traumatic experience in the weather, it's all kinds of things. These things that happen to us in our reality were a part of our path and our purpose. And when we bring that greater self-awareness and that greater self-acceptance, then that self-love just becomes a natural way. And this integration of our history is nothing that is in the fears. It's nothing in the doubt. It's nothing about our current reality, because our potential of manifesting the highest version of ourselves is imprinted into our lives, and it's important to bring that into the equation as much as possible in order for us to really truly create in a reality where we can visualize ourselves all aspects. You could say the good, the bad, and the ugly, but I say the good, the interesting, the accepted, and the future. Because all of those mini equations help us create a reality that is seamless. It seems like we're in flow. We're not scared of somebody finding out our deepest, darkest history. And we understand this in a new and more powerful way. And oh my gosh, does shadow work help us? Shadow work allows us to release that shame and that doubt, because whatever happened in that situation, you came here to experience. You see, Earth is the teaching planet. And the Earth that you're in right now, the vibrational Earth, can change in little and big ways in order for you to bring things into your reality that truly match up to what the highest version of you wants. And your future self is screaming at you, please do shadow work. Please release this. Please integrate your shadow self into your affirmations, into your daily equation, and into all the things that you want into this reality, because it's going to help you launch yourself further. Well, if you want to dip your toe into the Michelle J. Lamont pool and you're not ready to do one of my group courses and you're not ready to do one-on-one coaching with me, why not go in and read my blogs? I have a whole library of blogs on michellejlamont.com, and that's going to help you so much because you can read them. And I have a YouTube channel. You can secretly be at work, have your earbuds in, and be watching me on YouTube and helping yourself manifest your reality. But in case you're ready to dip your toe in financially, I've made it super easy by making 3 right now digital courses that allow you to tap into your shadow self, your future self, and everything. It's as inexpensive as $49, or you can buy them all together for $4.99. But if you want to spend more than 50% off, here is the code just for you guys. I want you to use it. I want you to take these classes, and I want you to work with me. So here's what it is. Are you ready for it? Write this down. Get your pen out. Go to michellejlamont.com, because taking this action introduces a whole new vibration into your reality. Because when you invest in yourself, you are making a clear, highlighted exclamation point declaration to the universe that I am now prepared to move forward. Don't be scared of change, and try one of my digital courses. So you can get all 3 of them for $199. That's right, $199. And you can buy them individually, 50% off, whatever you want. So a $99 course would be $49. It'll be the best investment you ever make by using this code PRE50, pre-50. All right, you guys, I want you to manifest the highest and the best version of yourself. I want you to share and scream and talk about manifesting your miracles each and every single day by sharing this link with your friends and your family. By you being a blessing to them, you are a blessing to this universe, because this podcast raises the vibration of the collective, and it gives you practical and magical solutions to manifest anything into your reality. And I know you want everybody in your life to co-collaborate their reality like you're learning to here. So please go into iTunes and write a 5-star review for me. They're on Spotify. Go ahead right there where the title is. You'll see the 3 dots. It says rank this. Give it 5 stars on there. You can also share. So please, please, please know that you have the potential to live a more fulfilling and creative life when you use manifestation to visualize and integrate the highest version of yourself into this reality. All right, you guys, I cannot wait to meet you on Zoom. I cannot wait to see you in my next live or group class, and I cannot wait to work with you one-on-one. But in the interim, I want you to listen to one of my podcasts each and every single day, and God bless you for sharing it. And I want you to feel your divine guidance being used in a beautiful and powerful way. So let's get into it. Everything is always working out for us. My name is Michelle J. Lamont. Thank you for spending this past 30 minutes with me, and I hope that you continue to take this journey with you everywhere you go. I love you. I love you. I love you. I am so proud of you. Cue the music, producers. It's time to wrap this up. Thanks for listening to this episode of Manifesting Miracles. Now it's time for you to take action. I invite you to hang out with me just a little bit more by signing up for my newsletter. You'll get instant exclusive access to the practices that will chart your own path to abundance and yes, spark that highest version of you. Head to the show notes right now so you don't miss a thing. Now listen, I fucking believe in you. And it's now time for you to win, win, win! Yes! Yes!